Welcome to another episode of K Speaks. When K Speaks, you listen, or at least you should, because why? I'm going to save you time and money. Two of those things, one of those things you can't get back again. So, yeah, I want to talk today about how many times can she love? Can she really love? And if she really loves, how many times can she do it? And honestly, I think that she can only do it twice, maybe 3 times. And I have a reason for that, and just to let you guys know, I'm actually driving again. The Car Chronicles continues. No, but I'm here. I was driving from Atlanta, and I'm actually on my way to North Carolina right now. And it's kind of good to be back in the continental United States, but I do miss my island a little bit. But anyway, yeah, I was having a conversation with 2 girls that work with me, and they're like, yeah, most women these days have this idea in their heads that women can do what men can do when it comes to sex, and just like having sex with whomever they choose to, and being liberated, so-called liberated, in that sense. And I was like, no, that's not. It affects us differently. And the first thing I told them, I was like, women are receptacles. Men are givers, basically. You are taking in a man. When he puts himself inside of you, you are receiving that man into yourself. And I even told him, even if you don't look at it at a religious standpoint, if you look at it from even a biological standpoint, that science has even proven that when a man ejaculates into a woman, the vaginal walls actually absorb that material. And that especially if a woman has had a baby with a man, that her brain has that man's DNA in her brain forever, for the rest of her life. And so I was telling them, these 2 ladies, I said, and the more you have sex with all these different people, the less able you are to bond with a guy. And they were like, oh, I don't know about that. I'm like, yeah. I said, think about I said, both of you guys have been through relationships. And I said, both have kids. One has kids from 2 different people. I said, but when I talked to them about, I turned to the one, I said, yeah, the first person you ever had sex with, you just thought for sure you're going to be together with him forever and ever and ever, right? And the other one was like, yeah, it's true. When the first person you had sex with, most of the time you think, as a woman, you think that you're going to be with that person forever. I said, it's built inside of you to think that. You are built to what I call Parabond, is what I told him. I said, there's a thing called Parabonding. And you're built to bond with the person that you have sex with first. You're not made to go from one person to the next person to the next person to the next person. You're not made that way. I said, God made you to bond with that person that cleaved into you, that actually put his member into you, and you became one with that person. And so it's not for you to go from one person to the next person. I said, because what happens is you mess yourself up mentally, and then you make it impossible for you to bond with a person, with any man. I said, so, you might have done, I said, and what's so funny about him? I came at it from not from my standpoint. I was saying that, this is a scientific fact. I can actually even bring a website that has the research done for you, so you can see it for yourself. And so, it wasn't like I was coming down on them. I was just speaking at matter of factly, And one of them turned to me and says, you're right. Because that first person I was with, when I was with my first kid's dad, he was the first person I had been with. And then I just knew that we were going to be together forever. She was like, and I was literally crushed when we broke up. And she's like, he broke up with me. She's like, I was crushed. She said, it took me a long time to get over that. I said, yeah, because you pair bonded with that person because he was the first person you've been with. And when he broke that bond that you had with him, it crushed you. It crushed you because you were literally tearing your soul apart from him. Well, he did that for you. So I said, so yeah, you it was never meant for you to be that way with a bunch of different people. And I said, it's just, it destroys you when you have to, when you break up with that person. It's just like completely destroys who you are as a person. And that should never be. It wasn't meant for you to be that way. So, and then the other one was like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Like the first person I ever had sex with, like when we broke up, he was a boyfriend. When we broke up, it was just really hard for me to get over it. She said it took me months, almost even a year, to get over that person. I was like, wow, man. And so I told him, I said, and then the second person you had sex with, the second person you actually were in love with, it hurt again, but they were like, yeah, but it didn't hurt as bad. It hurt, but it didn't hurt as bad as the person that at first time I said, yeah, I was starting to get a little numb to it. I said, but you know what? After that, you never looked at love the same way, did you? And they're like, well, no. I said, yeah, you looked at it as like more like a business, right? Like, does he have this? Does he have this? Can he provide? But they were like, yeah. Like, I just kind of gave up on love. And now I just want a person who can like do things with me and who can provide and be a good provider and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wow, man. If you get a woman comfortable enough to talk about this stuff, they will spill the beans. And you don't have to tell the person, oh yeah, I heard this on this and that and the other, or I heard this on the radio, or I heard a guy on YouTube talking about. No, you don't have to even say that. Just make them comfortable, and they will spill the beans, man. Completely confirmed everything that I know and that other people also talk about on here. Just confirmed everything. Like, yeah, I don't see men the same way anymore. I don't believe that they can be faithful, and da. And I was like, yeah, but those are the guys that you chose. Those are the guys that you chose. And the funny thing about that is this: now that they can no longer bond, and when they do finally get somebody that they will try to have a relationship with, unfortunately, they go back to the same types, and the reason why is because they've been imprinted by that type of person. So even if you put a good dude in front of them that's gonna give them everything that they claim that they want now, they can't even deal with that. Why? Because they've been imprinted by guys who are not that, who are completely the opposite of what they say that they want. And it's just crazy, man. This is crazy stuff. And I talked to one of them. I was like, you have a habit of picking the same type of people. She's like, yeah, I know. I have a habit of I can't break it. For some reason, I just keep choosing the same type of dude. And I told her, I said, it's because that's the kind of guy you have been with over and over again. So you are what you've allowed into you. I repeat, you are what you've allowed into you. So those are the kind of guys that you've been with. And she said, yeah, but I keep getting the same type. I said, yeah, because those are the type that you've been with. So you've been with 2 of them that were like that. You get 3 and the 4th, and you might see the good dude, and you might see the guy that really likes you. But because he really likes you, and because he's different from what you have, you completely ignore him. Even though you know he's the right person for you, you're still drawn spiritually, mentally, physically to a guy that is completely what you've been dealing with since the first guy that got you and broke your heart. And you're going to continue that pattern until you make up in your mind that that's not what you want, and that you have to choose something better than that. But until then, you're going to continue to repeat the pattern, because it's not in you. It's not in you to choose a good person, because you've been choosing badly your whole life. And these girls now in their early 30s, one has 2 kids from 2 different dudes, and it's all beat up and broke up. And the other one has all her kids from the same dude, but he's the same kind of loser. He's been a loser. He doesn't provide for his kids or none of that. But these guys have control to some degree of these girls. Why? Because they've become one with it, and these are the kind of guys that these girls deal with. So I truly believe that, and they both never went past 2. And the reason why I bring this up is because I've heard this before, and I know these 2 girls in particular have only loved twice, and both times it hurt. first time it hurt more than the second time. But then, of course, after the second time, they both looked at relationships more from a business standpoint. And it's funny because it takes it back to my video, which truly, I tell you, that was probably one of the best videos I've ever done. It's called Relationship Return on Investment. Relationship ROI. And man, that video talks about how women view men as a business transaction, how they view relationships as a business transaction. And but honestly, I think this is even though I've done this video like after the fact, this truly the material that I'm talking about right now really is the precursor to why women get to that point. Because in the beginning they don't look at it like that so much. In the beginning, before they like start having sex with all these different guys and all this other stuff, they don't look at relationships like that. They really will look at it from a love type standpoint, and they still might want like, you know, resources and things like that. But they look at relationships from more of a like a love type span, like a, you know, emotional love kind of standpoint, and not from a what have you done for me lately type standpoint. So, you know, honestly, this is like a precursor. The material I'm talking about now is more like a precursor to why women become return on investment, business type, transaction type people when it comes to relationship. And it's crazy, man. It's real crazy. It's wild. But, yeah, man, it's just amazing. I like 2 living examples of what we're talking about right now. Just like spilling the beans about how women are when it comes to that. And once again, they can only truly love twice, man. Anytime after that, there's always exceptions to rules, but the exceptions are not the rules. And I tell people that all the time. There's an exception to the rule, but those exceptions are not the rules. So yeah, you might find one that can like love 3, maybe 4 times at the most, but that's an exception to the rule. And so, are you really gonna dig through a bunch of, you know, rubbish to find that exception? Nah, man, come on. It's like, just hang it up. So, you know, it's just it's real out there, man. It's real out there. And you know, it's just amazing the stuff that people talk about in the Rep Hill community. How, you know, if you just like make a woman comfortable enough, she'll go ahead and confirm all those things. She'll confirm all those things that you hear. And this might be a little, no, this is not even off subject. This is actually, that goes along with this. I have a woman who's related to me, but told me, like, yeah, I have this one guy that, you know, I was like crazy about, like really was in love with, and it doesn't matter who I'm with. If I ever had the opportunity with him, he's that one. If I ever had the opportunity to go back, I'm gonna go back to him. I'll drop whoever I'm with to go back to that person because he was that one for me. And a lot of guys get with girls, and this woman had a boyfriend at the time. Or was in a relationship, so to speak, at the time, and straight up told me that, like, yeah, like, I dropped the person I'm with right now. I mean, he's good to me and all that, but that guy was the guy. He was the one. And I believe that, honestly, if they've been if they've been in love twice before, all of them that have been there have that one guy who's like that. And honestly, those 2 guys that they've been in love with, I believe, and I know this from personal experience, from dealing with a woman who was like that. I believe that every woman, like I said, has that one, and that they will always be emotionally connected to that one. They will always, or 2. Those 2 guys will always have some kind of emotional connection. She might think about those guys at times. She might even be talking to you and go into like some kind of like crazy like daze where she's not even, like, she's in a conversation with you, but she just blanks out for a moment of time, and that time might be the time where she's actually thinking about that too. You know, she will resent you to some degree because you're not those two guys that she was in love with. You know, she'll settle for you. She'll see you as safe. But she will resent you because you're not them. And you might be the best dude in the world, but you're not those. You're not the ones that she's given herself to, and so therefore, she feels unfulfilled in a relationship. She will straight up tell you, like I was told this before too, like that she settled. You know, that she settled for me, or that she settled for you. You know what I mean? She will feel like she settled for you because you're not exactly what she's looking for. You might take care of bills, you might like provide and do all those things, but that's not necessarily what she's looking for per se. So yeah, man, this thing gets deep. I might even have to just make another video. This is crazy, man. It's crazy. But yeah, so I just the answer to the question is just like, yeah, she can only love twice, man. Truly love. Well, what we would consider for them truly love. Twice at the most. Like I said, there's always an exception to the rule. You might find somebody who can do 3 or 4 possible, but I honestly don't think so. I think twice is about as good as it gets, man. And after that, you're seen as just a provider or a resource to a woman. So that's the video. I may be doing another video. I'm on the road, so I might just go ahead and knock out a few videos, different topics. But definitely this is food for thought for you guys that are out there. And if you're with a woman right now, like who you might think is like that, you know, like I said, make a woman comfortable enough to talk, and she'll spill all the beans, man. And then you can like navigate through it through there. This is what this is all about. You know, I don't believe in not dealing with women. You know, God put women on the earth for a reason. It's unfortunate right now in this day and time that women are all about themselves and they're not trying to meet the purpose that they were, you know, created to meet. You know, it's almost like cake batter not wanting to be cake. You know what I mean? Your purpose for being cake batter is so you can be mixed with stuff so you can become cake. Well, that's like a woman in these days and ages who doesn't really want to be the woman that God created them to be the helper to the man, and to be a wife and a mother in the true sense of those words. You know what I mean? And so with that being said, it's just you guys have to navigate. There are a few out there, but you just have to navigate and be careful, man. Just really be careful. Anyway, I'm gonna end on that. I'll see you guys on the next go round.